Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
And I'm Alexandria Hoff. Jessica is off tonight. President Trump hopes to cement conservative control of the Supreme Court by naming Judge Brett Kavanaugh as his nominee.
The president announced a federal appeals court judge during a primetime address to a national audience. Eyewitness News reporter David Spunt joins us now with more on the president's choice. David?
Yuki, when Donald Trump ran for president, he put out a long list of candidates he would appoint to the Supreme Court should he be elected. Well, he was elected. He promised the public conservative-leaning judges tonight. He says he's fulfilling that promise.
I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
And just like that, President Donald Trump put forward his second Supreme Court pick in the White House East Room.
I do not ask about a nominee's personal opinions. What matters is not a judge's political views, but whether they can set aside those views to do what the law and the Constitution require.
The pick, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, is a federal judge in D.C., appointed to the bench by President George W. Bush 12 years ago.
Mr. President, I am grateful to you, and I'm humbled by your confidence in me.
As Trump announced the pick, protesters stood outside the Supreme Court in Washington, rallying against a potential Justice Kavanaugh.
I was totally unsurprised.
Chip Becker is an appellate attorney with Klein and Spector in Philadelphia. He personally knows Judge Thomas Hardiman, a federal judge on the Third Circuit based in Philadelphia. He was reportedly passed over a second time tonight. Hardiman was said to be the runner-up in January 2017 when Trump picked now Justice Neil Gorsuch to sit on the high court.
He is a solid conservative, and if there is another nomination, I think we'll be talking about Judge Hardiman again.
But Becker says Kavanaugh is a solid pick. If confirmed by the Senate, Kavanaugh will replace retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy, a Reagan appointee many saw as a neutral voice on the court in his later years.
With all Supreme Court justices, life is long and their careers on the court can be long.
Kavanaugh pledged this to the American people.
My judicial philosophy is straightforward. A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law. A judge must interpret statutes as written, and a judge must interpret the Constitution as written.
Now it's really down to business. Judge Kavanaugh will meet with senators over the next few weeks from both parties before a vote takes place. Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey said hours ago, before we even knew who the nominee would be, he would vote against that person. Several other justices on the Supreme Court retirement age. It's possible President Trump could get a third or fourth pick during his tenure at the White House. Yuki.
David, thank you. And here's more on Brett Kavanaugh. The 53-year-old graduate of Yale College and Yale Law School is a judge on the Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. Kavanaugh was once a clerk for Justice Anthony Kennedy, the man he's been nominated to replace on the High Court. Before becoming a judge, Kavanaugh worked for independent counsel Kenneth Starr, where he co-wrote the report that served as the basis for President Clinton's impeachment. Stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the president's Supreme Court pick. We'll have the latest developments from the confirmation process for Judge Kavanaugh on television and online at CBSPhilly.com.